Okay, now the next thing that we're going to look at is right angles. We're going to take a look at right angles. So, let's see here. So, a right angle, okay, here's what I want you to do, is I want you to open up to your next page of notes. Okay, I want you to open up to your next page of notes. So the other was water under the bridge. Okay, and you already know that. And I hope that I was not confusing any of you. I was just thinking of, different things, because there's not one way to look at a line. There's not like, looking at it from only left to right, there's also right to left. So I was trying to, get both of those in. But let's just keep it simple. Okay? So I'm just going to do this again. So end of the line, point here, and then right here. This is obviously the end of the line. And then the arrow points keep going left. Okay, and then opposite here, which would be the beginning of the line, the arrow is telling us to go further right, let's say. Okay, so I think that it's pretty easy to understand now. Okay, now we're going to move on to something else. So I want you in your notes to title another page, and that page is going to be right angles. Right angles. Okay? Right angles. So on the top of that page, write down that, and then title your page. Page 2. Okay, you should, page 2 of your notes. Okay, so I'm going to give you time to do that. And for those of you who use the back side of your papers already, or you haven't yet, if you haven't used the back side, flip it around and use the back side. Okay, or if you want to, or if you don't have any more room, go get another paper and then use, maybe keep that paper to refer to, and then get another paper and then title it. And if you have separate papers, you don't need to label it the page number. That's why I think it would be a very, very good idea to have a notebook. That way you wouldn't have to keep getting sheets of paper that you weigh. That way it would be all in one place. Kind of thing. Okay. So, we're going to erase this. And we're going to move on to right angles and shapes. So, we're first going to look at right angles. So, you should have wrote this down. Now, who can tell me how many degrees a right angle is? Someone. Will. 90 degrees. Shiitake. Alright. 90 degrees. So right angles, okay, I want you to write down right angle, and then like put a colon, okay, so right angle, colon, and then below, put like bullet points. So the first bullet point is going to be 90 degrees. Okay, these are like facts about it. 90 degrees, and then the next thing that I want you to put is perfectly straight. Actually put both sides perfectly straight. Okay, so put both sides perfectly straight. I want you to write that down. Okay, so you wrote that down. Okay, now both sides perfectly straight, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else that you need for that. Okay, so now both sides perfectly straight is either the bottom or the top, or the two sides from left to right, and it's all about where they meet on the corners, the little edges. and where they meet, for example, okay, I'm gonna do it. So, let's just start out with, this one here. Okay, this one right here. Okay, so this shape right here, has a little, this is a symbol for right angles. Okay, I can draw that into any shape that is connected. All the sides, the shape is connected and everything. But, so, this is 90 degrees if either the bottom base or the top is, not both, obviously, but one or the other, is perfectly straight. And then either this side, either the left side or the right side of the shape is equal to that and perfectly straight. When determining just one corner, we're talking about just one side and one, either the top or the bottom. Okay, so for this we're talking about the bottom side of it. Okay, so we're talking about, I want to use the word the southwest side of it. So when looking at a right angle, and this is not perfectly 100% straight, but it's good enough. So I want you to draw this out if you haven't already. Okay, as I'm going through, and you should have your bullet points written down here. Okay, and so the side that you're talking about, there's a side involved. Okay, either just this or like a shape. There's a side, and then there's the bottom or the top. Both of those are the same, and they're both perfectly straight. The side is straight, perfectly straight. The bottom is perfectly straight, and you can draw that box in, around that corner, beginning, like up on the side, and then drawing it, like, you're connecting it from the side, drawing it in a box-like shape, connecting it from the side to the bottom base, and on both of those, it looks something like this, per se, or, okay, we'll look at shapes here. Well, actually, so, this is not perfect, but, so, let's say here, and it looks something like this. Let's say this, that's not really perfect. Okay, that's beautiful. Look at this. So, now I can explain. So what I want you to do is write down that model, okay, which looks something like that. Okay, which looks like this. Okay, and then, just as an example one, add this little symbol in. And, you can fill it in if you want to. And also, keep in the lines if you're doing that. But so, if that's straight, if this, as I said, if the bottom and the bottom, let's just say for the bottom is straight, and then as you can see, the side is straight, and perfectly straight. It's not perfectly straight, but if it is, and I think I'll stress the importance of a ruler, and you add that, you add that in, and the 100% straight, okay, then if you add that little, if you add that little, box in, it looks something like this, then you are, then you're right. The same as looking at, the other corners of it, like the northwestern corner, or the northeast, or the southeast. Okay, so if the top and the sides are exactly, perfectly straight, which this one isn't, and I'll go down to this one, and it doesn't matter, how big or how, wide your square is, as long as, it should look something almost like that, okay? And then I'll just put, like 4 there. If, this is a almost perfect 90-degree shape, because you have your top and your bottom straight, and then you do that boxing around the corners. Okay, and I'll show you if it has corners, and I'll show you because this is a rectangle, a fat square, I want to call it, like really wide square, which has 4 sides, and then a square has about 4 sides, as well. So we have a square, rectangle, and then as you can tell, that is 90 degrees as well. Square is 90 degrees shape because both, all the sides are the same to each other. Okay, they're equal. But what about another shape? What about another shape? So let's say a circle. A circle. Now, how about that? Well, it has no sides, and there's no, perfect, corners where there's two, either the top, for example, the top and the bottom meet up in the, in those straight, the perfectly straight, there's that little corner that you can see. Well, there's no edges and no straight sides on a circle, so, because it's rounded and it's curved. So, it's, as even as it is, it would not be considered perfectly 90 degrees. So it is not a 90-degree shape. Okay, so actually what I want you to do is in your notebook, I want you to write down now, after you drew that model out, okay, hopefully you've done that, and then you've written that shape that I was talking to you about, that rectangle. Put down 90-degree shapes, or right angle. I will just put down, either 90-degree or, right angle shapes, okay? And under 90-degree or right angle, you have a choice, one or the other. Put down the square, okay? Make it as straight as you can. Rectangle, make it as straight as you can. And then put down, not 90-degree shapes. So not 90-degree shapes. So make 2 different categories. Okay? So one of which is what I said, and then write down not 90 degree, and then circle is the circle is the very, very first shape, because it's not straight. The sides and then the bottom is not straight. Yeah, I mean, I could draw, for how, connected and even as it is, but it wouldn't be considered 90 degrees. I can still draw that boxing around the, around the corners, okay, but it's not 90 degrees, okay, so, now, do that one, okay, do that, okay, and I hope you're doing that right now. Then, triangle, well, a triangle, I'm talking about it like it's, okay, let's see if I can draw out a perfect triangle here. So a perfect triangle would look like that. Okay, so a circle has no sides at all. Okay, and if you want to, here, actually, on those different things. So on the different categories. If you don't know it, and if it would help, write down how many sides that a circle has, and also the 2 other shapes, like the square and the rectangle, counting them out, and then I want you to do that right now, and then we're going to move on to the triangle. So we're learning about the shapes as we're going. So the triangle, as we know, has about 3 sides. Count them, 1, 2, 3. But let's look at the shape of the triangle. Although it looks like a tree, we're going to be doing factor trees here some time. The triangle has 3 sides. The triangle has 3 sides. And you can have a shape that looks like this, that has 3 sides, but you can put right angles in there because the bottom and the, and the, and the upper are even, they're equal, they're connected, and they're both straight. So that would be 90 degrees. Okay? But the triangle is a different story. You have a straight base, or you're not perfectly straight, but I think that you get it. So a straight base, and then on a lot of houses you see like they're triangular shapes. And then right here, the difference is from, this right here, like a long thing right there. Okay. This is a right angle shape. Okay? But this isn't. This is not. So I want you to, actually maybe write out, the difference, writing out in word form. That the difference, so also, here, also, on your bullet points, 90 degrees, perfectly straight, equal sides. Equal sides. Okay, that's another bullet point that I want you to include in your list of bullet points. Okay, so do that. Okay, then we're going to take a look at the triangle. Straight bottom, straight base, but as you can see, those 2 sides that kind of, I want to use the word, like, cave in, kind of, diagonal. So, let's see. Northeast, okay, southeast, northeast, southeast, northwest, southeast, northeast, southwest. So we have the straight base and we have these 2 diagonal sides. The bottom is straight, but the sides are, diagonal. So those are not equal. The bottom is not, the bottom and the sides are not equal. Or, just the side. You're going to match it, because, we're talking about, the corners here. So it would not be considered a right angle shape. Although you could draw in those boxes, it is possible to do so. I'm not going to say that. But, those boxes, they're not the most important thing. So they're just models to tell, whether an angle, is right. Right angle, just as a helper. But if both sides, the top, and then, say the side, and then the bottom, or the top, or whatever, is even, and then perfectly straight. Okay, which that is not. So, now we're going to do another example. And this one is going to be another shape that you've probably heard of, which is a sideways square. A sideways square. And you've seen this before. Sideways square. Also called a diamond, having 4 sides, looking something like this. So now on the shapes. Now also, here's what I want you to do. You're going to make another category in your notes saying middle shapes. Middle 90-degree shapes. Okay, and I'll explain to you why this is the one. Okay, so do that. Write that out and then colon and then... Alright. So, on that, this would and would not be considered a 90-degree shape. And let's get into it. Because a diamond, which this is a sideways square, or kind of like a diagonal or like a slanted square, I want to say. So diagonal or slanted square. So if you didn't know that, I want you to write that down. And you'll also label the shapes. And maybe write down a little basic definition, if you don't know. So we're doing shapes as well with this. So because it's slanted, because it's diagonal, we could take it, and we could tilt our heads either this way or that way. And if we do that, oh, looky there, it's a square. And if we do that, we can tell that both the bottom and say the right side, let's see, they're both straight and they're both the same, so that would be right angle. But if we look at the diamond just straight, then then we know that there's no definite base, bottom or top, and the sides are not perfectly straight up and down, or across lines. That's what makes 90 degrees. So also 90 degree shapes, add this in, up and down or straight across sides. Okay? So write that in your bullet points. Okay, so up and down, straight across sides. Okay? So, now that you have that, on this,